Welcome to today's new family orientation session. Before we begin, we have a few important housekeeping notes to cover.
La traducción al español para esta sesión es proporcionada por Wordly, una herramienta de traducción en tiempo real. Para acceder a este contenido en español, haga clic en el icono del globo en la barra de herramientas del lado derecho de la pantalla y seleccione Español en la lista de opciones de traducción.
Today's session is being recorded. Recordings will be available approximately 3 hours after the session ends. You can find session recordings in your session schedule or in the on-demand page of the Hub. To ask questions during this session, click on the Q&A button in the panel to the right of your screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can, either during the session or at the end. You can submit questions anonymously. Please don't share any personal information in questions, as questions will be visible to all guests. If you see a question in the Q&A panel that you want to see answered, upvote it to let our team know. Lastly, we ask that you please join us in upholding and promoting UC San Diego's principles of community, and in keeping our community free from any and all forms of discrimination and harassment. Now let's get started with today's new family orientation session.
Hello, good afternoon. Hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Ed Junkins. I'm the Executive Director of Student Health and Wellbeing here at UC San Diego. I'm a pediatrician, an emergency physician, and a public health officer. And I'm also a parent of an incoming freshman, and I have a lot of experience in other children going into college. So this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, student well-being. Let me allow my co-presenter to introduce themselves. Dulce?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dulce Dorado. I'm the Director of Strategic Planning, Innovation, and Research at Student Health and Wellbeing at UC San Diego. And as Dr. Junkins mentioned, I also have 2 daughters that are in college. So know that the kind of where you're at. I'm sure you're very excited about your students coming to UC San Diego very soon. I'll turn it over to Veronica Clough.
So we have Veronica, who is working behind the scenes. I think she's off camera. And so why don't we actually advance the slide and jump into our slideshow so that we can get to questions. We have a lot to talk about, and over the course of the week of orientation, you're going to get a lot of information. Again, as a parent and remembering what this is like, having gone through our older children and now our freshmen, there is, at the end of the day, we want to understand what is the best way for our student to be as well as possible. In doing so, we're going to talk about what our approach here at UC San Diego is to well-being, and how, in particular, our services, that is the Student Health and Wellbeing Cluster, is here for your student, and how those resources are aligned. We'll talk about key services and programs, and then we'll move quickly to a question and answer session so that we can get right to what is on your minds and to help you enjoy a smooth transition into college life. So can I see the next slide, please? Again, wellness is not a destination, it's a journey. We very much look at student health on our campus as the acquisition of skills, as experiences that all are in place and all are involving to support student well-being so that they can be on time to graduate, so they can achieve the skills that they need to achieve while they're students here. And we understand a close relationship between well-being and academic success and really professional formation. It is a journey. Next slide, please. So we also understand, not only as parents, but as providers, myself as a pediatric physician, why it all matters, in that understanding what promotes resilience and mental health is an important part of our designing programs, placing programs, resourcing programs. we understand how well-being, resilience encourages academic success and personal growth, where our programming seeks to expand physical health, mental health, literacy, and as you'll see, the dimensions of well-being across 8 different spectrums. How we help students prepare for life beyond UC San Diego. These holistic avenues or features of well-being fall into 8 different domains. These different dimensions that student experiences simultaneously help them maintain balance and help them thrive during this 4 to 6 year transformational period. These well-being strategies fall into different categories and are very accessible to our students. And I'd like to walk us through each of these just so that you can see what is available, how we have organized them, and how your student can participate in each of these categories on our campus. Next slide. So to begin with, emotional wellness. That is the ability to understand and to manage and express emotions in a constructive way. Now, as a parent, I understand, boy, I'd love to see the development of our youngest boy, who's 18, on an emotional scale. And so we've listed here key practices that we've seen lead to success in this dimension for students. Examples of services you can see in that table to the right, and that is, we've got our counseling, so we call it CAPS. We have peer support groups and stress management workshops. And there are certain tips that I'd like for you to just kind of think about: journaling, therapy, mindfulness, engaging in friends and peers. And advance the slide. In particular, before I talk about physical wellness, because it straddles a bunch of different different dimensions of wellness, that engaging with peers and friends. If I could highlight that in particular, so much of the success on campus relies on belonging and connection. So that emotional well-being is so important. Next slide. Thank you. Physical wellness. Of course, student health and well-being has a clinic. So we understand how important it is to maintain a healthy body through regular exercise, nutrition, sleep, medical care, including specialty care, sports medicine care, and reproductive health. So we have as part of our primary care partnership, we work very closely with the campus rec center. Not only do our student health services have, for example, nutritionists in our building, we work in collaboration with nutritionists at the rec center. And we therefore recommend regular checkups, regular workout schedules, especially sleep. If I could say, circle one superpower on there, it would be that your student understands the power of sleep. We talk about this with our students over and over again as primary care physicians. Next slide. Spiritual wellness, finding purpose, value, and meaning in life, which may or may not involve religious beliefs. So how do we go about that? Yes, we have interfaith centers, and we have mindfulness and meditation programs on top of our specific advisors who help students on spiritual journeys. We recommend meditation in conjunction with prayer if that is what your student needs. Nature walks, self-reflection, all as key practices to help students maintain spiritual wellness. Next slide. Social well-being, that is building healthy, nurturing, and supportive relationships. Again, relationships are so important to this. And if I could have you, you've heard this, if I could have you do one thing, that is encourage your student to join clubs and organizations. We see this as very much important to the overall, again, journey of well-being, building resilience, and achieving that academic success. We have student clubs and organizations, cultural centers, resident life programs, the list goes on. And as you engage over the course of the week, you'll hear about ways of keeping this engagement through a special app called Willow, which we will talk about specifically moving forward. Remember that word too, Willow, as an app. Next slide. Intellectual wellness. Of course, These are students who are on campus and one of the most premier academic campuses, not only in the system, but in the country. And so students who engage in creative and stimulating mental activities will find additional joy in that academic journey. So we encourage them to reach out to their academic advisors, engage in library and research services that are aimed specifically at this dimension of well-being, and engage in the workshops and seminars that are in place for students as they're exploring their career options through internships or setting goals. Next slide. Occupational wellness, that is finding personal satisfaction and joy and enrichment through work and academic pursuits. This is setting career goals, finding balance through our career services, internships and job fairs, resume and interview coaching, and engaging with our faculty, our advisors who are in the field and have that level of enthusiasm with their occupations. We encourage them to attend lectures and workshops with these faculty members as to explore new hobbies that may open up a whole new career for them, and to engage in reading and other intellectual activities. Next slide. And then financial wellness. That is, it's hard to maintain a healthy, well-balanced journey if you are not financially well. And so managing those resources to live within your means, the plan for the future, is an important part of that development, that journey. So we have a financial aid office with professionals, budgeting workshops, emergency grant programs, so that students develop skills in saving, budgeting, and understanding the whole loan process and expanding their literacy through workshops. With that, I think that is my dimension of environmental wellness, living in harmony with your surroundings and respecting the environment. That is, how can students understand about the importance of being outdoors, reducing waste, and advocating for sustainability? We have a sustainability office. We've got gardens and clubs throughout the campus, and we encourage students, for example, to recycle, to organize their space, and of course to spend time outdoors, which is very accessible all across campus. And you can achieve many dimensions all at once, whether it's engaging, whether it's physical activity, mental well-being, and environmental wellness, all at once by engaging in some of our combined programs, for example, through Triton Flourish, where you might join a group that goes out on 3-day trips, and you learn not only about the environment, but you are making connections. Next slide. So bringing this all together, this is when we ask students, when students come onto campus, we invite students to assess where they are in each of these different dimensions of well-being, and to start with small achievable goals using campus resources. And again, we've got hundreds of campus resources, but we have a way to help them manage that and to even keep track of that through this well-being self-care app. But to consistently engage is the important piece. So a little bit of a teaser to information on Willow, which is a by students, for students self-care app that brings all of our resources together. Again, wellness is not a destination, it's a continuous lifelong journey. With that, I'm invited to hand this over to my colleague to help us talk about our cluster. I'm the executive director of a cluster that spans 6 different units that Dulce is going to describe, but in doing so, our services are embedded all across the campus, and we engage primarily with health as a direct report, and yet we have campus partnerships across the many dimensions of wellness as I described. And we can't do this without that ecosystem in place. So let me invite my colleague Dulce to take it from here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Junkins. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit of, and spend a little bit of time on the 2 of the 8 dimensions that Dr. Junkins mentioned. In particular, the physical wellness and the emotional wellness. A little bit just about our cluster and about the ecosystem of support that's available for students that come to UC San Diego. We serve about 43% of all of the UC San Diego students at UC San Diego. More than 19,000 unique students come into our facilities, and we reach more than 20,000 students in terms of our preventative outreach programs. Also, we have more than 87, almost 88,000 students who come into student health and well-being. 92% of the students who see our counseling and psychological services also identify that they're satisfied. 92% identify that they're very satisfied and have benefited from seeing our clinicians, our providers. And on top of also our in-person services, we do have more than 11,000 students come participate and utilize our telehealth appointments. So we want to say that student health and well-being is not only accessible, it's convenient, and it's something that it's easy for students to be able to use to support their success at UC San Diego. I want to go ahead and share a video that highlights many of our services, but also gives you a glimpse into what our facilities look like and who our providers and clinicians are. So I'll ask Veronica to share that video.
Hi, I'm Ed Junkins, Executive Director of the Student Health and Wellbeing Cluster here at UC San Diego, your one-stop destination for well-being services. We're here to make sure every student feels supported, healthy, and ready to take on their academic journey. From comprehensive primary medical care at Student Health Services to proactive health promotion programs and compassionate counseling and psychological services, our team is here to support every facet of your well-being. And to further our commitment, we offer the UC Student Health Insurance Plan, ensuring every student on our campus has the security and peace of mind that comes with top-tier health coverage. At the heart of our campus, we have Student Health Services. Think of this as your go-to for everything from routine checkups to specialty care services. Student Health is tailored to meet your unique needs, from primary and urgent care and sports medicine to the travel clinic and the eating disorders program. Our certified practitioners are here for you. We're fully equipped with a dedicated team to ensure you stay in the best health physically and mentally. At UC San Diego, we value the health of our students as much as we value their education. We understand that unexpected medical expenses can be a hindrance. That's why we offer UC SHIP, a comprehensive and affordable health insurance program designed with our students in mind. It's seamlessly billed to their accounts each quarter, ensuring simplicity and peace of mind. And for those students already covered by an external plan that meets our standards, there's flexibility to opt out. Together, let's ensure health and academic success go hand in hand. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Our Counseling and Psychological Services team, or CAPS, is here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and flourish. Our team of psychologists, therapists, and other professionals is committed to fostering mental well-being. We offer everything from one-on-one chats and skill-building workshops to community forums and online self-care resources. Our goal? To ensure that every Triton and everyone who cares about them feels equipped, informed, and supported. Let's talk about wellness beyond healthcare. Our health promotion services actively work with students to foster positive habits, whether it's navigating relationships, understanding substance use, or just seeking a quiet place to relax. We've got you covered. Many of these programs are hosted at The Zone, our wellness lounge in the Price Center Plaza, ensuring that you have a balanced, healthy college experience. Your well-being is our mission. So explore, ask, and engage. Welcome to the Student Health and Wellbeing family at UC San Diego. Join us in fostering a healthier, happier campus community.
Great, thank you, Veronica, for showing that video. So we wanted to at least share that video. It's available on our website, so if you want to review it again, please visit our website. And I wanted to again summarize just some of the key services and programs that we have. This first slide, of course, is our student health services comprehensive services and range of medical services that are available, whether it's primary care, urgent care, on-site pharmacy, our lab, x-rays and optometry. We're also the only student health and well-being unit that reports directly to a health system. So many of our students are then have access to world-class care at UC San Diego Health. Again, highlighting just to summarize the counseling and psychological services, we offer individual and group counseling, psychiatry services, and 24/7 crisis support if needed. Again, all of these services are available for students that are registered at UC San Diego. Some of the things that we want to highlight, and Dr. Junkins highlighted it briefly, is we're very excited to share that we have a Willow app. It's a self-care, mental health and well-being app where students are able to not only see in one place all of the resources that are available to support a student's all dimensions of a student's health and well-being or wellness, but also students are able to identify events and activities that they may be interested in. They can also see collections of services and programs that might meet their specific need and that they're interested in. Students can also then collect all of these and be able to then share with their friends. So the Willow app is something that we're very proud of, that students can access and really support a student's success at UC San Diego. The other thing that it also does is that for students that are here on campus, it's connected to My Chart. So it's a way to see the students' health records, make appointments with our providers and clinicians. All of that is available in one location. Here's just a quick glimpse of what it looks like. So I said that you can do a curated list of collections, resources that have access to your wellness, choose on-campus events, and then of course view your health appointments. UC San Diego also prides itself in offering lots of different tools that students can support their mental health and well-being. We've got a couple of other apps. Headspace is a mindfulness app that students can utilize where they can teach them how to meditate in everyday life, and it's all available for registered students at UC San Diego. We also have a curated list of audio relaxation videos and recordings. Students can also take a behavioral health screening test. We have lots of handouts really to ensure that students are taking good care of themselves. For those students that are looking for online peer support, the campus also offers free online mental health support community where they're connected with their peers and can chat with them about things that they may be experiencing and be able to understand what they're going through. All of these services are available again for all students that are registered at UC San Diego. Another resource that we have is Triton Core. This is a dedicated team. It's a mobile response team for students that might be encountering a behavioral health crisis. We have a very trauma-informed, compassionate team that can respond after hours and into the evening. So this is the first of its kind in the UC system, and we're very proud again to be able to have this additional support that we have for our students when needed. A couple of other things that we wanted to highlight. It was mentioned in the video, of course, for the UC Student Health Insurance Plan. It provides comprehensive coverage for medical, mental health, dental, pharmacy, and vision. And it's no cost for many of the health and well-being visits, the labs, and x-rays. The link is on this screen if you need more information about UC SHIP. Keep in mind that UC SHIP, or the health insurance, is a requirement for all students enrolled in the University of California system. Here's an information briefly. I hope that you were able to attend the parent and family webinar earlier this month. If not, those are recorded so that you can find more information. It's also available on our website if you want more information about the health insurance program. For those that have to waive, we strongly encourage those families to look into our reduced access fee for Tritons, or called RAFT. It's a prepaid access to our student health services, and it's a really great option for those who might waive the UC San Diego, UC Student Health Insurance Plan, because for $70, students have access to these unlimited appointments at student health services, have access to labs, x-rays. It doesn't include pharmacy, optometry, but it gives parents especially peace of mind that students have access to this on-campus student health services when they're here when their students are on campus. We've already mentioned health promotion services, so we are throughout the year really promoting the importance of health and well-being, providing different tools, connections to different groups that they can be a part of, resources that are available to students to really ensure that students are looking after their mental health well-being. If there's any, we also have life coaches as well that students can participate in. All right, and then the last exciting thing that I want to share with everyone is that we are going to be transitioning into a new facility, the Triton Health and Wellness Building. Why it's very exciting is that it's an 80,000 square foot building, 4 stories tall, that will house a comprehensive services from not only student health and well-being, but the UC San Diego Health and also the School of Medicine's Department of Psychiatry. It's going to provide continuum of care at the heart of campus so that students can access it and very readily available to students. You don't have to go off campus. It's at the heart of campus that is available for all of our registered students. It'll be going live in summer of 2026. If you're interested in taking a look at how the progress of our building, the new facility that will be coming online, visit tritoncenter.ucsd.edu again for this exciting new development and really supporting students' health and well-being at UC San Diego. Okay, now we're going to be opening it up to questions and answers, our Q&A session. I believe that you can enter questions. I'm asking Dr. Junkins to come off to go on camera just so that he can address some of these questions. We'll be monitoring them on the back end. And let's see, Veronica, if there's any questions that we can post to Dr. Junkins now.
So I have seen that there was a question about how, if you have Medi-Cal, how can you access services? So at this stage, our services, the insurance product that we recognize is the UC Ship insurance product. We are looking into ways to accept other kinds of insurances other than the UC Ship insurance, and eventually possibly even Medi-Cal. I don't know how long that process is going to take, but we really feel like, especially as we move into the new Triton Center, which is in the heart of the campus, it's very well centrally located, and all the services you would need are right inside that building in the middle of everything. And so regardless of the insurance, our students can still walk in the door and get services. Probably the best mechanism is to go ahead and purchase the Raft product that was shown. And so for that small fee, your student would have access to, a strep throat test, for example, or an x-ray after a fall off a scooter, or that kind of thing, because our urgent care really functions as an emergency department type place. You can just walk in. Otherwise, depending upon the service needed, there's a fee for service structure that's in place, and families can always bill their own insurance once a fee has been paid. So that's typically the way we answer those questions. We have a pretty in-depth question and answer feature of our insurance page that answers many of these questions. And so I would invite you to look at that as well. There was another question that asked about the best way to access academic counseling. While there isn't, we talked about the importance of academic advising in the well-being dimensions, or the holistic care that we consider it the wellness wheel. Academics is very much the intellectual part of that is very much part of that. For today's session, we won't be talking about advising, but I will encourage students to reach out through their student affairs dean for the kinds of services that they need. All of the colleges also have embedded case management and embedded CAPS, so clinical psychologists And regardless of where you are, as long as you are a UCSD student, you can call the counseling center and get what's called a brief telephone assessment within a couple of days, so 2 to 3 days. And so you can speak to a counselor regardless of what insurance you are, or as long as you're a registered student. There was a question. There's lots of questions about insurance. And again, I would encourage you to visit our insurance page. But so there's a question is when choosing UCSD healthcare coverage in case of travel, does it cover nationwide? So it's an insurance plan, just like any other insurance plan through Anthem that covers your patient. Obviously, you'd have to look at the benefits that are part of that plan with regards to out-of-network and nationwide coverage. Primary care and urgent care and all that we would offer right here on campus. And again, another question. Ultimately, we want to emphasize, as far as mental health and crisis intervention, that Dulce talked about the Triton Core unit, and I can't overstate the importance of that unit, especially for anybody who is on campus. That team is ready to deploy. They work very closely with, they're deployed in pairs. They work closely with dispatch, even though you can contact them directly and not go through the police dispatch, the campus police dispatch. You can call them directly. Any parent or friend can call crisis. We also have a 24/7 crisis service that helps take care of students beyond those hours. Let me say. So if you waive SHIP, can a student still access CAPS services? SHIP and CAPS are really two separate things. CAPS is funded through a mental health referendum that the students vote on regularly. And so this is a student voted in referendum fee, a mental health fee. Therefore, everybody who is a student has access to CAPS. Okay, the student health insurance piece is important if then CAPS needs to refer for certain kinds of services. Then insurance starts to kick in, but everybody has access to CAPS. Let's see. I read about Triton Core. It's nonviolent cause. If a student is experiencing a panic attack and just needs calming down breathing. Okay. Again, Triton Core is, it's an intervention. It's a crisis intervention. The majority of their calls, they're able to de-escalate, including panic attacks, including needing to calm down. Many students come in from across California, in fact, across the states, who have high anxiety, depression, panic attacks. Many students. Between 75 and 80% of all of our calls to Triton Core from concerned roommates and parents and friends, where the call, where there's an intervention. So 2 of our Triton Core team members go in, talk to the student. 75 to 80% of those are de-escalated during the intervention, which is on average around 2 hours. So our licensed clinical social workers go in and meet with the student for on average of 2 hours just to de-escalate them, with very few ending up needing to go on to a crisis center or an emergency department. So that is the reason that service is in place. We will once again share the information about it says, can you share? Hopefully you're able to see the Triton Core information. You can also just go in and search Triton Core, C-O-R-E, but the link has been shared up above, I can see. Other non-insurance, how does eating disorder clinic work? So, great question about eating disorder. We have students who come in with, again, fairly sophisticated and complex mental health concerns and challenges, including anxiety, depression, and eating disorders and other sort of associated or comorbid conditions with those diagnoses. We have a sophisticated, specifically trained clinician in eating disorders who leads a team of primary care physicians, nutritionists, counselors, all specifically designed around the complex eating disorder patient. That's a service that we have as part of our palette of services for these complex patients. And so in order to be seen, you would go through your typical mechanisms of intake. So you call CAPS or you make an appointment with our primary care team. Again, if you're SHIP, UC, student health insurance, you just call and make an appointment. If you're non-SHIP, again, if you've waived out, the best product is to buy RAFT so that you can have access to primary care, and the primary care people can refer you to these kinds of specialty clinics. Okay, so eating disorder is considered a specialty referral. Let me see, and if you go to Student Health Services, go to our website and then search through services, you will find nutrition, eating disorders in the link, and it'll describe the services and how to get into those clinics. Another question, is the health center open on weekends? And if it's not, where do students need to go if they need care? So we do have mechanisms after hours, after what's considered business hours, and this includes during the week, where we have longer hours during the busiest times during the week of in-person care. We have extended hours on weekends, on Saturdays, for example, and certain days during the week of telehealth care. If somebody needs to be seen, we encourage them to go to one of the urgent cares in town. Again, when we go into the Triton Center next summer, the urgent care, express care will actually be part of our building. And depending, if you're SHIP, a referral is not needed. We took away that barrier. If you're UC SHIP, you can go straight into an urgent care without needing a referral. As a last option, there are emergency departments that are part of the La Jolla campus, for example, or the Hillcrest campus, or other campuses not associated with our unit or with our university. But I would encourage students to stay within the UC system. Let's say maybe you have a different insurance, but to stay within the UC system, because Epic, our students are in the electronic health record Epic, which allows our primary care physicians, or even those with whom we refer, to be able to continue care because they're still in the same, what's called instance of Epic, all within the same system. So that's after hours and on weekends. So here's a question. As a parent, what are the top resources that I should encourage my students to access? Now, I think about this all the time. I'm on my 5th and last son, so I have 5 boys, 5th and last son that we're launching out into college. And, for us, it's all about, the resources. I think the top resources, if I consider the dimensions of wellness, the top resources, again, what is the best way for me to find, I'm going to say, physical health, the best way that I can engage in recreational health or sports that allow me to maintain my student health. It would be, I would say to my son, what are your preferences? And the nice thing about the Willow app that Dulce talked about is it is the only app of its kind in the world that we can find, developed here by our engineers. AI AI driven. So it is Netflix meets Instacart, where the services that make the most sense to you are pushed out to you. So if your preferences tend to be more physical, then those activities will be pushed out to you at the top of your feed. And you can share them with the people on your campus that are in Willow. And again, whether it's spiritual or emotional or social, you're able to engage in these self-care services, again, within the UC San Diego ecosystem in a way that makes sense. So if I were a parent and I took away anything, I would say, step number one, download the Willow app. I have nothing to disclose. I have no financial interest in this, except that I know all the work that went into it and the hundreds of resources that are designed across those 8 dimensions that help your student find the services they need to maintain a level of well-being on their journey. Okay. So here's a great question, and this is a question that my wife and I talk about all the time. What is our role in helping our students maintain their well-being? In other words, this question is, what can I do as a parent? And my wife and I have to remind each other, well, get out of their way. They need to develop, and they're on their journey, and now is their time. And I don't know, I still need to sleep at night. I still need to know that they're going to be okay. I can sleep much better with a Triton Core number, on speed dial. I'll be honest. I can sleep much better if I knew that my student was finding the preferences that they need, and they're engaging in activities that connect them to people. And so my advice to you as parents is, Willow aside, encourage them to connect, encourage them to engage in sports, encourage them, because when we do have students who escalate beyond that initial encounter in Triton Core, or they're referred for these really complex mental health or problems, many of the times there is a almost complete lack of engagement. I think we all feel this and know this. How can we as parents, encourage that? This is where we are set up to help you help your student. Okay, I've got here's a great question. And then I think I'm going to check in and see what kind of time there is, because we're nearing the end. But let me answer this question. There are a lot of apps out there already, and my student is overwhelmed. In fact, we're all overwhelmed. Are there 1 or 2 online resources that should be encouraged? I'll say this, that the online resources, they're helpful. The Calm app, the Headspace app, these are good apps. And there's a lot of literature out there, as I'm paying attention to this, which is what my position requires. There's a lot out there that says that these kinds of apps are important within those first couple of stages of well-being. This is to expand individual agency, to help you learn how to care for yourself, internally motivated activities, reminders. And I would still say that aside from those kinds of, we put some of these apps in our presentation, and Dulce included those in the presentation. I would still encourage students to utilize the services on campus as best they can. In many cases, they're right next door. It's where they are right now. And the best way to find the services that make sense is, again, through that Willow app. I'm seeing that there are many great questions on insurance here, and here's the contact information that I alluded to as far as our own student health and well-being, email contact. reach out and call us, talk to us directly. We also stand up insurance tables all the time when, during move-in weekend, orientation weekends. We will have long conversations many times over with our team. We've resourced a deep team of seasoned UC student health insurance professionals to answer your question. They are always online with students to make sure that their needs are met. It's also a product that really streamlines the referral piece. For the most part, our providers are able to get the care that the students need, and there really isn't that level of denying. And we go through a pre-approval process that is really very clean because our team is so knowledgeable. So I ask you to reach out to the team and have an in-depth conversation with those professionals, and then to reach out to us about the various parts of whether it's counseling, health promotion, or other parts of our cluster to get the answers that you need. And I think with that, we will bring the Q&A to a close. By the way, there is some more questions about how to access the Willow app, and so we will share that out as well.
All of those questions, and as Dr. Junkins mentioned, we have a website full of information, not only about all of our services, our health insurance. I don't know if our colleagues from Parent and Family Programs wants to plug the Friday session on Willow. I know we've gotten a lot of responses and questions and excitement about an additional tool that can support our students.
Sure, I can hop on. Thank you so much. I just want to remind everybody that we have many sessions happening in the new Family Orientation Hub this week that are all focused on the various services that Student Health and Wellbeing shares for folks. So tomorrow you can join us to learn more about student health services. On Wednesday, you can join us to learn more about CAPS and the Triton's Flourish program. On Thursday, we'll have a session devoted entirely to Triton Core, so you can learn all about that incredible resource. And then on Friday, we will have a session that is all about Willow and other online resources. So I know that Dr. Junkins and Dulce here have covered a huge amount of information in a short time. We wanted to give you this overview so that as we dive into all of the details and specifics later this week, you will have some sense of what we're talking about. But we will go into each of those things that were mentioned in a lot more detail later this week. So definitely plan to join into those sessions or catch the recordings afterwards on the on-demand page of the Hub.
Thank you so much for having us, and best of luck over the course of the week.